Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another night, of course, of the XP Valorant Open Series. My name's Charisma, and I'm not doing this alone tonight. I am joined alongside me by Two Tap Tony. How are you tonight, my friend?
Oh, I'm feeling a little bit better. It was a little bit of a crazy evening yesterday, and hopefully we got another crazy evening of Valorant action. And of course, Charisma, we're back again. Second week here of the Open Series.
Yeah, we are back again, ready to get stuck into it. And what if week one it was? We saw some pretty exciting games. But, we can't stay focused on those too long, Tony. We've got a whole new set of games coming up tonight. Of course, it is just two best of ones again happening tonight, but we're here for the whole ride. It's about 2 hours. We hope you can join us along for that. Of course, we will have a Crash OBS on the Observing and our good friend Alex on the adminning work tonight. So shout out to them. But look, it's going to be an impressive one. But before we go any further, let's have a look at the league format. In case you've forgotten, or maybe it's your first time tuning in, we want to have a quick look at how this all operates. And as you can see there, we started with 16 teams at a double elimination bracket. And now we've navigated our way to the group stage where we will see ourselves in week number 2 there. Of course, you can see it is a 3-week series. And so we navigated through those first games last week. And now we're here to week 2. And we'll move into the semifinals where we'll start to weed out who will end up where, and then we'll have our last week, the grand final week. And so it's going to be an exciting one, to say the least. So really excited to get up to that one, see how that all plays. Of course, we need to look at what these players are playing for. We've got money on the line, Tony. No effort goes unpaid here at the XP Valorant Open. Of course, powered by Intel and Zowie and Computer Alliance, who provide all the technology for us to run this tournament. As you can see, that first walks away with $1,000. Second, a tidy little $500. Third, $300, and fourth, $200. Tony, what would you do with $1,000 from our good friends at the Intel XP Open?
I'd definitely upgrade my PC with something from Intel, of course. Beautiful prize pool, $2,000 overall. And again, once again, shout out to Intel for sponsoring the league and giving us such a hefty prize pool to give away to all these players that really deserve it. They've been putting in the hard yards, of course, in different tournaments and really getting the chance to prove themselves in this one.
Yeah, that's right. And let's look at the standings after week 1. Of course, there was a bit of a moving and shaking. Games played across our first week of the tournament. So we're going to have a quick look to see where everybody sits and stands after that. And here it comes up there. Standings after week 1. So we got Rain there. They walked away with a tidy first place victory. And they had a good win last night, Tony. Elsewhere around the Valorant scene. So they're going to walk away with the big 1-0, and then Fun Crew, they're 1-0 as well. And then it's Sam Fam and East LA. They weren't able to get on the board last week. They'll be hoping for better results this time around. So a lot to play for. Tony, what did you make of last week with Rain, Fun Crew, Sam Fam, and East LA?
It was definitely very close. Both best of ones really gone the distance. Rain just able to inch out East LA in a 13-11. Of course, then we saw Fun Crew, Sam Fan Club went OT. We went all the way to 14 before Fun Crew were able to finally take it on Haven. Of course, it was a little bit interesting watching that one back. Of course, seeing how both teams were very evenly matched. Sam Fan able to match Fun Crew's pace and maybe looking to do that this evening against their opponents in Rain.
Yeah, well, that's right. And you did allude to it there, but why don't we have a look at what is the schedule for tonight as we get to see a fresh new series of matchups. It will be first up. We're going to have Rain taking on the Sam Fam Club, and what a handsome photo that is from the Sam Fam Club. Then we've got East LA taking on Fun Crew in our second series of the night. And Tony, if we look back to what happened, what we saw around from Fun Crew last night, it wasn't as convincing as probably what we'd like. So they could come into a bit of a roadblock here heading into tonight against East LA, who are slowly starting to gain some traction, looking a little bit better as they slowly work through some of the issues and some of maybe the roadblocks they've run into so far this season.
Yeah, East LA kind of really getting a second life to them, of course. They didn't qualify through some other tournaments, and, maybe this is the one where they really start to run it through. Of course, they went really close against a powered-up Rain roster, so anything's possible. Fun Crew looked mortal as well last week against the Sam Fan Club. So I keep my eyes to that second game, but of course we're going to look at this first one. Rain versus Sam Fan Club. It is going to be a crazy one, of course, as we see upcoming match. Rain versus Haven.
Yeah. we have some technical difficulties there, but it will be Rain taking on the Sam Fam Club. And what should be a monster showdown. I'm really excited to see how this one plays out. It's going to be an interesting one. But why don't we look at the roster for Rain and get a bit of a breakdown on what that looks like? Tony, why don't you take us through the rosters?
Yeah, looking through this Rain roster this evening, it's been together for quite a while. Of course, we've got Sub Jerky there waiting to come in if called on. And of course, you got Punda, you've got El Snow or JTXU, Panic, Issa, and Maishu. Of course, we didn't get to see Issa yesterday for that Rain game, and I'm very much hoping that he's a little bit warmed up this evening because, of course, the rest of them definitely had to play a long one. I believe it finished at about 1 a.m. New Zealand Standard Time. So, also, one of those players that, he went from such a crazy series yesterday. He very much performed well in that last map as well, I have to say. Also, definitely keep your eye on him. But yeah, this is going to be a crazy one. I definitely feel like Elso wants to get this one wrapped as quick as possible. Doesn't want a long one like last time.
Yeah, I suppose you're only good as your last performance, rather. And if you've got anything to go off the last performance, it's all looking pretty good. But for now, it's just the rosters. We have to see what they can do once they get into the server. But let's have a look at our other team. Let's look at the Sam Fam Fam Club and how their roster shapes up for tonight. And of course, it will be Hennessy and Niceak on the subs. But we've got Ander, Mirza, KZR, Element, and Diggs. That's going to round out our roster. So a strong lineup there if you look at purely just names alone, Tony.
Yeah, and it's interestingly enough, of course, Mirza recently actually joining the Bonkers roster to fill out their core of five. So coming in for the Sam Fan Fan Club tonight, it would seem that they've adopted for Mirza's help once again. Of course, Mirza, he's played with these gentlemen before. He's played with Andy, he's played with Element. Diggs, of course, filling out this roster too. Very interesting to see. I've heard Diggs is a bit of a ranked demon. It's also a bit of a demon on the deck. So hopefully we'll get to see him show up well. But of course, it's Rain versus the Sam Fan Fan Club. You see the rosters coming across in front of you. And interestingly enough, not too bad of a showing last week against Funker, I have to say. And Omen, I believe, definitely impressing me, to say the least, from Sam Fan Fan Club. But Rain, of course, looking powered up in performance, but also powered up in a few of their previous games. I have to say, Rain, looking very good right now.
Yeah, I think it's been a bit of a buff, if you will, since we've seen the merger of With You, With Me roster and Iconic come together to make this Rain lineup. They've looked really strong and showed out some really impressive performances. I'm excited to see what that looks like for them as we do head into this. And of course, they've got a lot going for them with VOT and some other things happening around the scene. So Rain, they've got a pretty busy schedule on at the moment. So can they turn up for the XP Open Series, of course, powered by Intel and Computer Alliance and our good friends over at Zowie. Sam Fan Club, they've got a bit of a job in front of them. They will need to tap into some of that experience with Mirza, who is now playing up with that Bonkers roster. So I'm excited to see how this one plays out. But we do have the map vetoes in. We're ready to have a look at where will we end up tonight, Tony. As these start to show up on our screen, it will be Rain taking on Sam Fan Club. Breeze the first one to go. Then it was Icebox, Split, Fracture, Haven, and Binds to go, which is going to end us up on Ascent, which is a bit of an interesting one. It will be Sam Fam starting on the defending end. Tony, if we look at Ascent, it's you and I have spoken about this a lot of times on broadcast over the last few weeks, that it's interesting that a lot of teams are playing this map very differently at the moment. And I suppose the glaring one that's always sticking out to me is a lot of teams on the defensive end are happy to sacrifice that mid control to stack up elsewhere on the map, more specifically on your sites, whether it be the B or the A site.
Yeah, it's definitely a common occurrence, and as well, a common occurrence is a lot of these teams have been picking the KO as of late. Of course, using that knife, using those flashes quite admirably. I believe the last time I got to see Issa on this map, 18 assists, a very crazy number, of course, for that young man, and well, for the side of Sam Fan Fan Club. They're going to hope to God that Issa's not on the KO this evening if he's putting up numbers like that, flashing for teammates, helping out admirably. But of course, Sam Fan Club, as you said, recent experience edition, of course, with Mirza now playing for this new look Bonkers. And I had to say, Bonkers definitely, they had their moments of brilliance, but they also had their moments of disappointing.
Yeah, there's definitely some causes for concern around that at the current point in time. So it'd be interesting to see how it all plays out. Look, it's a big game. It's a big time game. If we do reference back to our leaderboard, every match so important in these 3-week series. You can't afford to let it to slip up, or let yourself get in the way of a win. And it's all going to come down to making every round so valuable. Of course, they are best of ones, Tony. And we've seen the volatility of what these best of ones are like, especially in some big time games. If you just let a couple get away from you too quickly, there's no next time we'll fix it up on map number 2. It's a do or die situation. So really excited to see how this one plays out. I believe all the teams are just about ready to get into this one. So we're not too far away from the agent select. But Tony, any last thoughts before we head into Ascent? Of course, it will be Sam Pham starting on the defending side.
Yeah, I guess it's interestingly enough that we have a lot of statistics here for the side of Rain. We've got a lot of info as to how they like to play this map of Ascent. And of course, previously the core of Iconic really liked to play that map. And, very interestingly enough, obviously opting to play the Chamber for, Ascent's very great map to kind of take those mid and A main peaks with that Chamber, of course, especially with the Tour de Force. But as well, rocking the Omen that a lot of these teams really much like to play, especially now that Astra's fallen out of the meta a bit. And, nobody opting against this Sova pick, still really, really comfortable in playing that agent.
Yeah, well, that's right. And of course, Sova's still a viable option, at least for the time being, because we won't see Fade slot into this week's games, but she will make an appearance next week if teams opt in, still in that quarantine phase to let everybody get adjusted. But I guess the general consensus from what we've seen around the scene so far and what I'm understanding from watching different players like Shroud and Tarek and alike, that Fade probably won't hold as big a staple in the competitive lineup as what we maybe initially thought. But, it'll be interesting to see how all that one plays out. But we are into the agent selects. It will be Mirza, Lockie, and Omen. Element on the KO. It'll be Fuji on the Jet, Ander on the Sova, KZR on the Chamber. Then it will be Exas locking in that KO. And it will be Elsno on the Omen. Panic looking to go over towards that Chamber. Bunda on the Rays and Maishu on the Sova. So interesting lineups there, Tony. I'm not sure what you're gathering, what you're thinking from that, but slightly different, but not too different.
Yeah, it's not too much, of course, being spot that. We saw Bunda really. His blast packs and his showstopper use was absolutely insane, to say the least. And of course, I said that Easter was coming in for this roster this evening. I tell a lie, though. It's actually going to be Exas. Of course, I believe Easter currently on hiatus for the moment, so a little bit of a break. So Exas going to be rounding out the roster. And, well, you can't really blame the side of Rain really bringing in Exas as a core sub, and he's been filling in Issa's role quite comfortably. Doesn't look like, there's nothing too wrong with it.
Yeah, I mean, Exas is a proven name in the scene, and we know what he can do. So, look, excited to see how this one plays out, as you do get a little cinematic flyover of Ascent there, and how pretty does it look. The map that is so high up in the sky, about to turn into a battlefield. Of course, it will be Rain taking on the Sam Pham Fan Club in our first series of the night. My name is Charisma AU, and alongside me is Two Tap Tony, and our observer tonight is Crash OBS, and our lovely admin Alex steering us through everything. Any detail, any nice graphic you've seen, it's been our good friend Alex steering the ship, making sure that it all comes to your eyes. So excited to get this one underway. Tony?
Yeah. And you can, of course, the Stanford Fan Club Mercer for this evening. Element, interestingly enough, opting to bring the KO to this game. I haven't actually seen all too much of Element on the KO. KZR, of course, a very coveted duelist player. Looking to rock the Chamber. Not too bad of a pick from him, of course. But see, Sam Pham getting a start off that defender's side, and Rain already starting off, finding Element over towards Market Stairs. It's a very brave angle to be holding from, and maybe not one you want to be holding against Rain right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's some early aggression already from Rain, who have taken this site fairly confidently. Bunda's still trapped into main. And so this boosting Panic have to get one there on the Chamber. Of course, that beautiful Headhunter ability. It's such a valuable one, but Maishu going to get the last two. And really a fairly confident side take there from Rain, not dropping a single member, potentially carry across a bit of that confidence from last night. Look, a really strong performance there. It is, of course, only the pistol round, so time will be telling as we go deeper into this map. And Ascent, It's been one of those maps, Tony, that has a proven ability to potentially see a few overtimes come out to play, as it is one of those maps that a lot of people know a lot of variables on how to play this one and can really catch a few teams off guard.
You can see, of course, Rain setting up this A plate early on. Knife getting both sides a bit of knowledge. Few players suppress the cautious winery. I respect this very much. Careful ping here from the side of Rain, and flying into the side is Punda. Perfect one from Panic onto the door play. That's Element. Fragment and the paint shells. Elsno going to be holding the door, but take it out. What's she on? That's a quick pick to start this one off. Sam Fan Club for the retake, maybe half tag. The flash up to heaven. Both players going to be coming that way. Exas, a beautiful tap in my shoe. Through the wall with a Guardian. High penetration value gun. Going to be picking up a second for the side of Rain. Starting this one off with a quick 2.
Yeah, it was excitement. You can see the Guardian come out to play, and that, of course, it will be my shoe getting the last one there. So now Sampan Fam Club already on the back foot, 2 rounds down. They do get the opportunity to buy into this one with the Bandits and Phantom. Abilities coming thick and fast. KZR and Fuji, the only ones to get onto the board so far through this first 2 rounds for Sam Fam, so they're desperately going to be wanting to make a return serve here. So do get underway here for the 3rd round of this one and only map for our series. As Elsno starting to navigate up pretty swiftly here. KZR will be forced to try and get done with the Vandal. Gets the info, backs away, and the smoke is really good from Elsno. And utility, you've got to imagine on a map like Ascent is going to reign supreme, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely. Element is going to be taken out. Panic walking the lane, weighing out. Comes Punda with the paint shells and the showstopper and all the fancy acrobatics and a perfect shot to KZR. Now it's just 2 players left here for the Sam Fan Club. Shion and Mirza looking to retake this one, but of course, default plan. Look to hold a wall bank, teleport to the back of main here for Panic just outside. 2 players here for Sam Fan Club looking to go in. The dash has been charged up by Shion. Needs to use it quickly though. Mirza has found one quickly already on a Punda, and bang on, my. 1 bullet, 1 dream. The Dream's the 3rd round to Rain. Perfect start for them so far, and why untouchable yet to die. 5-0 on the scoreline.
Yeah, really impressive stuff there. My shoe off to a hot start, and now thinks now's a good time to maybe ditch the Guardian, bring out the Phantom. It's looking all very peaches and rainbows for Rain right now, and Sanfan Fan Club, they're left reeling trying to find an answer. Punda and Maishu off to some seriously hot starts. Punda looking really smooth on those Raze abilities. I feel like if you can get someone on the Raze that has that beautiful movement, it just adds a whole different layer to the attack of a Raze player, and Panic already taking down Element there on a little bit of a lurk. But a split attack here nonetheless coming in from Rain as they start to navigate their way up. Elsno will get one as well, and this is all falling apart again for the Sanfan Fan Club, who are struggling to find an answer to the strong attack coming through, and this is getting really spicy. Fuji good for one, but that's about all he's going to get.
Yeah, not much else it would seem. Rain storm the site once again. They've lost 2 members. Marshall's down if Ando wants to pick it up. Can't say I've seen Ando the sober yet, so maybe looking to do some work. Vandal, attempted wall bang. Wall's paper thin almost. Panic. Gonna jump up, and Ando wants to take the dart out. Rain go 4-0. Starts attack side off Ascent. And for the side of Sanfan Fan Club, unfortunately, not going to be finding anything on the force. We'll be able to buy down to this one. Operator out for Shion. We'll look to do some work with it, of course. Lead Storm one off, and KCR does have the tour de force. They've got 2 snipers online, potentially here for the Sanfan Fan Club. It's just about how they position properly. The side of Rain have been really punishing this early aggression.
Yeah, that's right, and it will be the operator for Fuji here trying to get something done in that regard. And there is the null command coming through, and it's just an absolute blast of abilities right now. But KZR is able to get one, and they're not going to be able to stop the resurrection, so he's going to get right back up for free X-Sus. And it will be Maishu catching out the flank. And the Showstopper doing a lot of damage on Element, and that might just be all he can do is run as the paint shell's falling in, and a good for one, Exus another. And Bunda comes in, Maishu gets one as well, and it's all looking very smooth right now for Rain, who are looking as hot as a meat pie fresh from the bakery, Tony.
Ooh. I could go for a fresh, hot meat pie, but red hot, as you said, Rain coming out to this one, the 5-0 start. Hunter's Fury and the Tour de Force now online for the Rain roster. And interestingly enough, their series yesterday, of course, against the Honey Badgers, the attacking side, 7-3. Rain really good at their attack, but also not too bad on their defense, of course. Were able to find themselves a comfortable 7 last night. Well, seems like a breeding ground for success right now for Rain, but the Tour de Force out and a perfect conversion on Elsto. And that forces Rain into a little bit of a dicey situation. The updraft from Xion, attempting for a Bladestorm knife, but nothing gonna land, hit it smart just yet. Now it's Rain to set up for this post plant.
Yeah, beautiful use of the Tour de Force there, but Maishu returns serve. And again, Rain have brought this back to even numbers, if not better. Exus playing very aggressive through Heaven, captures some other players sleeping there, and are coming through Tree Room. Element trying to navigate out of Heaven, but it's all again falling apart as Exus through the floor gets one, and then Maishu cleans the last, and that's a 6-0 start. And Tony, 11-0 for Maishu. We know what a storied history competition Maishu has. Of course, after we saw the dissolving of that Krimmer's Disciples roster, we wondered what would happen to some of these players, and a gift. Wow. Very strong.
Yeah, I have to say, Maya was kind of one of the diamonds in the rough there for that Krimmer's Disciples roster, and seemed to have found home here on this next roster here, because Rain, oh well, 6-0 to start it off. Punda with a blast pack, get in there. Not even able to react to Team Punda. It's already taken out 2 players with a trade back from Elements. Great, finds Punda and Panic. With an early dash onto the Hunter's Fury, jump up into MI. He's going to be taken out. Xion on a quick flank, Exus will lob out the flash, the cloud burst. Xion able to hold for the moment. It's 2v2. Spike will go down the site, and well, Exus now doesn't need to take this fight. He needs to turn his attention towards CT, where he's dinked up Mercer, perfect spray. Now can play as safe as possible, can play for the bait, smoke front. The flash blinds up Exus, gets himself white. Xion coming through that smoke, but Elsnow's going to hold it perfect, and he's thinking about the teleport out from the shadows. Baited. Mercer doesn't fall for it though. Now Exus going to play as close as possible with low HP. Wants to hide, doesn't want to give any info over. Mercer forced to jump up and check and caught in air once again. Rain continue this streak of dominance.
This is incredible showing from Rain, and it seems like with every game this roster gets together, they just get a little bit stronger. Of course, Tony, you could look at this and go, well, maybe they haven't had the time to practice, and potentially that hinders their growth, just not being able to practice enough together. But at the moment, with a streak of officials they're forced to play pretty much from the start of the week through to the end of the week, they're meeting the expectations really well. All of these names individually, a really good roster, but together they're looking very strong. Of course, we know how good names like Panic and Exus and Maishu and Bunda are. And of course, Elsno, but together they're making quite the strong showing and a real statement case that they could be revered in the scene in only a few short months from now after they get some more time together.
Yeah, I'm really liking this kind of mix of, I guess, former CS veterans, of course, Elsno and Panic. Used to play at that top level. Coming over to Valorant, Panic didn't have the craziest of opening teams. Looking for an opening to the site. He's in Hunter's Fury. Null command out. Elsno quick to trade back on Element, stabilizing the core and getting Exus immediately back to this fight. You'll see that Zamfam Fan Club is again struggling for a retake. They've been pushed out so far. KZR has to reload towards short. Shots come in from Panic, but KZR, a CS veteran of his own, able to find that shot in the Panic, and does a little bit better now for retake potential.
Yeah, and Ander just can't even make it. That's the second Maishu's gotten through the floor so far this game. Looking really good with that spray through the ground, but it will be KZR forced to try and work his way out here. He's able to get one, but unfortunately runs out of ammo. And that's,
Right here.
I guess, a bit of a telling story of how this game's gone for Sam Fan Club so far throughout this game. A couple of rounds there or thereabouts, but just not able to get across the line. And we'll see an 8th round in a row for Rain. And wow, as Whippies would say, rain above, Tony. Rain above. Shout to Whippies in the chat.
Yeah, Rain definitely well above right now. You can see not a single round, of course, drops. Of course, flawless in the half. Hasn't been flawless. They've lost a few players here. That's been a little bit closer. Some of the engagements. Element in for a quick peek, and it's both KOs now down. The flashes are gone. So is the knife for the info, but flying in through the main side of the map. Punda, showstopper. He's going to half tag up and up. KZR will be taken out. And Mercer, though, quick trades back. Paranoia is in hand, but Elsno with a shrouded step to the site. Secures it. Blinds Mercer for the moment. 9-0 start here for Rain on the attacking. I said their attacking wasn't too bad yesterday, but just wait till you see their defense.
I mean, I'm left in a bit of shock and awe right now, kind of reeling from what's happening. It's unbelievable. It's just the sheer pace and ferocity that Rain are doing this, but it's their pace variation that's been so good at the moment. Like they're coming in so hot and so fast, but they're happy to slow it down when they need to. It's been a bit of a telling story so far of this game, and their last couple of weeks as far as their Valorant goes, they're looking really strong. Xion gonna look for a peek here, dashes away, might fall here, will fall. Punda tagging up and the Boombot doing the job, and then Exus put the perfect flash. KZR good for a couple, Element gets 3.
Hey, yo!
And that was a bit of a bloodbath, and I think that might have been a bit of lack of respect there coming from Rain, who continued to push out through the smoke, despite not really showing any sort of respect to the defense of Sam Fan Club. So a good round to get on the board, but it was all down to the heroics of KZR. And I believe it was Element getting the job done. So good for the stats, good to get closer to that positive kill-death ratio. Can they capitalize on a couple more? Do you believe, Tony, maybe 2 more rounds for Sam Fan Club? Make it 9-3, the 9-3 curse in full effect? I believe. I do.
Yeah, my hopes. Sam Fan Club, of course, playing a very close game last week against the Side of Fun crew, and you know, you have to give them credit where credit's due. That's a respectable statistic for the moment. You can see Rain slowing down the pace this time. Nobody looking to peek anything all too aggressive, just playing default, waiting for maybe the Side of Sam Fan Club to itch for a frag.
KZR is holding his angle very patiently with the tour de force, and will reap the rewards, but he's going to run into Panic, who has it as well, who will get out. KZR has the advantage of the angle, but now stripped away. Wouldn't think the look. Mercer gets one there, so now this is a good opportunity for Sam Fam to get a second round on the board. They need to try and get to this side. Anders shuts it down, gets the spike. They expect one right there. He won't. KZR getting one as well. It's all down to my shoes to try and navigate their way out of this absolute mess. Ooh. And Xion will deliver the final blow, making it 9-2. So ground starting to fall towards Sam Fam after some struggles for the first 9. They finally get a couple on the board.
I'll tell you what hasn't slipped though is my shoes KDA 14-3. 8 assists on the board too. Absolute demon. You know, and this is 4.08. This is the patch that Fame came in. This is the patch where Jet and Sova got nerfed because Sam Fam opting for both of those agents. Rain, of course, just the Sova, but as we've seen from our games yesterday, that despite the nerfs to these characters, it wasn't a crazy big hit. If you can still play them at that top tier level, then nerfs don't really mean much.
Yeah, I think at the top tier, and that was an ambitious swing from Element who went through, and then it's just a bloodbath. This is looking like it might be a 10-2 half, but, you know, KZR had a couple of good rounds there. Can he provide something? Gets one. Brings it to the 2v4, and is starting to come through Tree Room now. Elstone not ready for that. Might be caught off here if Ander can get a little spot. Here's the glass break. That's a good time to try and swing out and capitalize. KZR and Ander combining for a couple. This is the new drone we get to see with a bit more pace, a little bit less time. Punda coming through, trying to catch off guard. Ander shuts the door. It is down to a 2v1, but Maishu makes the 1v1 all pressure. And I'm pretty sure that's not how that butterfly knife's supposed to look.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a different looking one. Hunt's Fury, Maishu, just gonna play for the win condition. Perfect stuff coming in, and Hunt's Tensu, as you predicted, Rain. A blowout first half here. Sam Fam, maybe not as awake as they would have thought going into this series, had a little bit of a rude shock in his first half alone. Now Rain, it's where it just gets better. Their defense side, from what I saw yesterday, very, very well oiled and great for these retakes, especially if they're just opting to give a side up. Well, for the side of Sam Fam Fan Club, they're going to have to make sure there's no gaps in the hold if they're able to get this spike down. They also have to make sure there's no gaps in their hits.
Can Rain find a way to close this out on this defensive side, or will it be a massive comeback from the Sam Fam Fan Club? Well, that's, I think, only time will tell. But it will be Merza creeping all the way up Catwalk already with that spike. It would be a terrible place to get trapped and lose it. They continue to navigate their way through. Exus is waiting there with the ghost in hand. And it will be Exus trying to shut it down, throws the frag in, does a good work to isolate some jewels, but can't take out Element. The paint shells will be a little bit misguided, miss out on the kill, but it will be all these players getting so heavily tagged, and they will be forced away to the B site where they should get there for pretty much free. Elsno now rotating back around. It's going to be a bit too little too late. Maishu good for the one, but it's a lot of work left to do for both of these teams to see if they'll win the round. But Shion doing a good job. Punda returning serve.
Yeah, it sounds like this, you wish you had a Sky, right? Of course, everybody low HP still here for the side of Sam Fam Fan Club, and Punda gonna be tagging up the pistol. Teammate can pick it up. Headhunter is out for Panic, and they can't come into this one panicked. Punda gonna be checking main laneway. Panic walk the stairs. KZR shows the body. The headshot. And it takes out Punda, and despite the low HPs, despite the early damage from that beautiful fragment placed by Exus, Sam Fam Fan Club are able to post up in the post plant and hold it down for a third.
Good return that serve there from the Sam Fam Club. They need to capitalise on a few more than that if they're going to get themselves across the line, but it's always a good start. Claiming the pistol round, so 10-3 the score line as we do head into the 14th.
Here.
Big task ahead. 2 buys this one, of course, with the Spectres and 1 Vandal. KZR opting in for a bit more of an expensive buy and navigate their way through to A main. But the defensive side in Rain have opted for the stack over towards the B site and hope they might fall into the hands and be able to take a couple of guns away, but they're not going to get that luxury. It's going to be a free A site. As they come in, they try to clear it, but they're not going to find anyone home, and now the rotate comes through. In fact, it looks like they might go all in the flank, if not a couple stacked over to the tree room. And they're going to opt in for a full stack on the flank. KZR, he'll expect one, but will he expect more than that? Oh, as KZR backs away after taking a little bit of damage there from the pistol, but Ander getting it done, and it's a bit of a bloodbath, getting pretty messy now. The paint shell's coming through. Punda good for one, not like this. You've got to find a way to hold on, Sam Fam. They might just look to recover the guns here and back away.
Yeah, that's all they're after at the end of the day. Spectres make it expensive, of course, and take away the bonus potential here for the side of Sam Fam going into this next one. So they're looking to walk on. They're actually looking to steal away all the guns and looking to walk to the side. They will all fall. Panic, Punda, and Maishu be taken out by the spike, assisted by Exus. Or assisted by Element, maybe, sorry. Element getting a few assists on the board. But of course, Rain didn't really have to keep those Spectres when they can afford the Phantoms this one.
Yeah, plus it's good for the economy just to die to that bomb. It's probably better off than saving the Spectres, as you said. So we'll buy into this one. Vandals and Phantoms across the board. Same for Sam Fam. Yep, there's the last one locked in. So it's going to be Vandals and Phantoms across the board, or a couple of Spectres for Shion and Merza. So not exactly ideal, but it'll do as Punda looks to play aggressive here in main. Gets the spot, takes a lot of damage, so good start again, but Mirza ambitiously pushing into those paint shells, not something you love to see. Now creates a bit of a tension standoff. Who is going to misstep first? Mirza trapped in wine. They farm that orb, and that might be just enough to back this attacking side in SamFam away. It's important they get this round. There is no slip-ups available. They can't afford to let any more rounds get out of their hands, at least for the time being, until the scoreline closes up a little bit more. Shion holding that top mid. We'll see the hour drone. Good info found. Might have seen two players there as Mirza gets one.
Yeah, great walk up. Upgrades the gun. You can see a few low HP bars here for SamFam and oh, Panic. This is a great reposition. Very much not gonna hit the mark though, unfortunately. Shion a quick answer, Elsno able to hold it, and Mai's taking it Shion over in middle. Just wait till you see the KZR Paranoia. Down to extremely low HP, about 10. Still left in that HP bar, and Elsno will smoke it and just sit, wait for it. 20 seconds, he has to see both these players eventually. Will hit the quick flick to KZR. Would have liked that one onto Ander though. Ander full HP. 11 seconds to try and take to this B site. The cross is on. Ander's able to get in. But will the plant come through? Punda will be a little bit too late. Punda swings it. Perfect bait on the satchels to go over the top. Forcing Ander to watch for it. 11 on the board here for Rain. SamFam not going to be feeling great about that one.
Yeah, that's, as I said, it wasn't really a round they could afford to lose. They needed to get a few more just at least to close the gap up. But, you know, they've still got one in the pocket before they get pushed to match points. So it's still a very achievable task, but the economy not looking too fantastic whatsoever. It will be this Marshall for KZR. And they've got the Hunter's Fury. We'll buy in with a Frenzy, it looks like. Frenzy for Shion. No Bladestorm available. So, look, there's not a lot going if you look at the grand scheme of things for SamFam right now, but just never know. But Panic and Exas combining for a couple there. Panic maybe looking to get a second, but Mirza shuts it down with that Phantom. Shion's activated the dash, but caught in a very precarious position. Punda shuts it down, so it is down to the 4v2. All pressure on Elsno and Mirza to get the job done. Ooh, rather Mirza and KZR, but Mirza gets another one. And SamFam keep their life alive a little bit longer.
Well, they expect no. Mai has pushed up a forward position to be main, and Mirza was cautious of it. Both players extremely low. Mirza healthier than both of them combined right now. 125 HP to Punda's 20. Mai's 24. That's 44 HP respectively. That's just one bullet per player here for Mirza, you'd feel. We're going to go through middle. We're going to cross up market completely uncontested here
30 seconds
by the side of Rain, and 30 seconds left. Mirza looks to overtake the site, but might peek to spawn, and Punda's expecting it. Perfect shot from Punda. Pinpoint precision. The two top fraggers for Rain getting it done. 21 and 4 for my shoe. Only died once in this second half, I believe.
Yeah, it's been an impressive showing. My shoe's only died 4 times across the whole game. That is... That's something else. Still only one ultimate across all 10 plays, and that is Ander with the Hunter's Fury. Surely we're probably going to see it this round. It needs to be this round. 21 and 4 for Mai. Punda 16 and 10. Panic 14 and 11. KZR the only one on double digits so far for the SamFam fan club on 17 and 13. So a good game individually. While the team not quite getting moving around him. But Mirza's starting to heat up towards the late stages of this game. We'll get a couple more of those on the board. Go a long way to win this one, as Elsno has just gotten all the info that they're rotating over towards this A site. And Punda's ready there to shut it down. And more heartbreak and more pain coming in. As Panic with that Bulldog looks to spray down, but might get pushed in here. But it's Elsno with the backup.
Yeah, that's a great position from Elsno. Now you can see the Rain not even allowing this spike to go down before they attempt to retake that door. Extremely low. KZR will be checked by Panic. Now trades out his Bulldog for a Vandal, and it's 2 players. It's a low element. It's almost full HP Ander, of course. A little bit lower than likelihood. Hunter's Fury is online, but needs to find a first shot element. He's going to be taking Panic. Combines for it. Perfect retake, and overall an ideal perfect game here for Rain. 13-4. Blowing out Samfam Fan Club in this Week 2 game.
Yeah, that will be the end of our first series of the night as we see the scoreline there. 13-4 falling to the way of Rain, and what was certainly an impressive performance, to say the least. Rain, they've got to be really happy with that one, Tony. They've looked strong from the start until the end with a couple of rounds lost to Samfam. When you start to think maybe they're heating up. Of course, those first 2 rounds they got to finish the half, you thought, oh, well, maybe we're edging closer to seeing what we know they can achieve, and then it was quickly fought back by Rain, who rounded that one out. So a strong performance from Rain as they continue their dominance. Look at the scoreboard there with Punda, 17-11. KZR did all they could, 17-14. But my shoot, 21-4 on the Sova with 11 assists and an economy rating of 137. Really, really strong stuff. You got to highlight the 4 first bloods there for Punda. It was a key part of their attacking side the first half that really made the initial difference, and it was the utility usage from Exar, so it can't go unnoticed. But 10-11, his utility was beautiful in that first half, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely. You saw the fragment, I believe, heavily tagging up the players of Samfam Fan Club. Unfortunately, not quite able to finish off the kills, but of course, Panic Mai doing a little bit too. Of course, 21-4. Can't be understated that Mai had an absolute all-star game here on Ascent. And Charisma, that's our first map in our first game of the night. Done and dusted. And just like that, Samfam Fan Club, you know, we said it could have been possible. Rain, of course, on a bit of an upward trend, but Samfam Fan Club, they showed great performance last week. It just seemed to not be there this week.
Yeah, I think our good friend Breach over here in my top right corner there, I think he'd be he's kind of how Rain are feeling right now, you know, like he's bobbing around, he's feeling pretty excited about how things are looking for them, and I think a really bright future ahead for them. But it will be, can they capitalize on this momentum, but also find that room to keep improving? And that's a lot of the issues we see with a lot of these OC Valorant teams, isn't it, Tony? That they hit this running start, and you think, well, this has a lot of promise, and then you run into these teams maybe like Order or these higher top tier teams, and it can be a bit frustrating when you lose to them a couple times and you see the momentum slowed down a little bit. So for Rain, it'll be, can they capitalize on this momentum they've got right now and continue improving in the next few coming months? They might actually be a bit of a challenge to Order. So I'm excited to see what they have to offer.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolutely banging thing to see here. But of course, we're already done with our first map here in our first series this evening. I believe we will be going to a bit of an extended break because, you know, we've got a bit of time on the clock here, so we'll be going to an extended break.
We're done very early.
We're done very, very early, but hopefully you guys enjoyed that first one, and hopefully you stick around for our next one. We'll be back in just a few.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So good to have you back with us for the XP Open Series, Valorant Open Series, if you will. Of course, powered by Intel Computer Alliance, who provide us all the equipment to run this beautiful broadcast, and then our good friends over at Zowie. We're glad to have you back. We're glad to have you here. Of course, it was an exciting map, one we saw, and now we're moving on to our second series, which should be another banger. Of course, I do have Two Tap Tony beside me in the cast. Welcome back, my friend. And we look at the schedule here for our second series. It was Rain taking that first one, 13-4. And then East LA will now get the chance to take on Fun Crew, which should be another exciting matchup.
Yeah, as you know, we alluded to, of course, before we went to that first game, before we went to a break, of course, that East LA, they've been looking a little bit shaky as of late. They've been having some very good performances and then some really, really rough ones. But of course, we'll be taking on Icebox. That's of course the map, not the team. The team is Fun Crew, as you can see across their lovely little panda logo. Of course, the left side there, East LA, should be an interesting one. Of course, we see that, you know, we get a preface to what the map is. Icebox, Fun Crew might be all over this one. But of course, before we get into the map and how it will be played out. We have to look at the side of East LA. It's Kalashnikov. It is Exempt, Indy, Akana, and for this evening, actually going to be Daise.
Yeah, so it should be an interesting one to see how that all plays. Yeah, last minute production telling us we had another last minute sub in, so that's an exciting one. So we'll see how that all plays out. So this is the roster for East LA. Excited to see what they can bring to the table for us tonight. But while we look at the other side, let's look at the roster for Fun Crew and see how they shape up. It will be a lot of names we've all become familiar with. It will be major on the sub role, but other than that, it'll be Freshest, Easy, Northern, Andy, and Yakuza rounding that roster out. Fun Crew, as I alluded to at the top of the broadcast, had a bit of a shaky start when we last saw them on Monday night playing an official, and we'll be hoping for a better result this time around. Of course, only a one-map series, Tony, so no time to warm yourself into this one or kind of find your way. You need to be getting going from the absolute start, and that's a lot of what we saw come unstuck in the first series for San Fan Fan Club. Once the momentum already fell in favor of Rain, it was hard for them to reel it back in. So look, these teams, they're going to be locked in and ready to pounce straight away.
Yeah, my eyes are on, I guess, Akana here, I have to say, from the side of East LA. He's been putting up some respectable numbers, of course, despite East LA's performances in some of their series. Akana has definitely been a key player to watch for, of course. His Yoru, I believe, in East LA's last game, definitely pulled off some impressive plays, pulled off some impressive stops. But, of course, Icebox, very much a Fun Crew map. They were arguably one of their best in terms of statistic and historic-wise. Fun Crew have always been great on Icebox, and Fresh is an absolute demon on that chamber. Look out for the Headhunters, look out for the Tour de Force, because this man tears it up on the chamber.
Yeah, that's right. And you did see the early teaser before, but let's look at how the map vetoes went and who banned what. It's always interesting to see who kind of knocked out what maps anyway, but we do know it's going to be Icebox, but it was first Haven getting banned, and then it was Split, Breeze, Bind, Fracture, and then Ascent, which we saw last series, and then which ended us up on a very chilly place, Icebox. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. Different ways you can play Icebox, all different variants. Not my favorite map personally to play, but to cast, it's a good bit of fun. Of course, it's been a better map as far as seeing how it plays out since the rework. I've been a big fan, so I'm excited to see how these teams navigate their way through and who's going to come out on top of this best of one series.
And I want to allude to an interesting play I saw in Icebox recently. It was out of a completely different team, I believe it was Bobo. Just opting for straight B takes. Not a single time that they went to A on their attacking side. So maybe Fun Crew could look to employ that strat here. Maybe they took notes from that game. Like, you know what? They're right. B is kind of a little bit easier to take than A, especially against those Vipers who like to put the Vipers pit up early. Wall, of course, the front side, Snake Spice, back side. And it's just so hard to push against the Viper, especially on that A side. But of course, Icebox, a great read, especially I want to call on the Ascent ban here by the side of Fun Crew. Definitely don't want to play that map against East LA because that's the one they've been upsetting a few of these teams on.
Yeah, that's right. East LA have been looking strong on Ascent. So Fun Crew, they've obviously done a little bit of research there to know to take that one out of play. But we are getting ready to do the Agent Select. So ready to go. All the players are in the server, ready to have a crack at this one and see how this map on Icebox goes. But Tony, Icebox, as you said, Viper reigns supreme. It'll be interesting to see. You can't imagine we won't see one. But will we see a Sova? Will we see some things like that? It'd be interesting to see what sort of info agents we get come out to play. And if you didn't catch it at the start of the broadcast, there will be no fade in this game tonight. We're still in that quarantine period, the first 2 weeks of her release. She will be up for selection coming in to next week's last week of the regular season of the XP Open Series. But for now, we get the Agent Selects. It will be Yakuza locking in that KO easy on the Sova. Of course, it is Fireball there, but you can navigate that one. Freshest on the Chamber, Andy on the Jet, and Northern will, as you could assume, lock in that Viper. Indy going to lock in the Jet, Exempt on the Chamber, Isaiah on the Sova, Kalashnikov on the Viper, and it will be Akana. We saw what they could do on the Yoru, and I'll be interested to see how this Yoru pick slots into Icebox. I know it's a strong pick for Akana, but I'm interested to see how it works on Icebox.
Yeah, it's a very interesting hover that Akana's going for. Maybe just you know, we saw good form on Ascent, so maybe he just wants to pull it out in every map. Show us what the Akana Supremacy can do, of course, as a few of his fans have let us know that they're staying with Akana. If he's got one fan, he's one of those fans, and, you know, if he's got a million, I'm one of those a million. You know how the copy pasta goes, but we're going into it. Still yet to see the lock-in from Akana, so very, very bit interesting to see. No, we didn't get to see. The last minute, it is confirmed to be the Yoru. Just heard the click come through. So Akana going to be playing Yoru on Icebox. A little bit of an interesting pick, but of course, as you can see, very prone from a few of these, especially OS teams, to go for that mid-B split. You can see a lot easier to kind of take that site now that, you know, it's a little bit longer, narrower. It's down towards B green and over towards the middle side of the map. But of course, Icebox, and as you said, Fun Crew's kind of bread and butter pick. It's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, we are into the server. We're ready to go. It will be East LA taking on the Fun Crew in this one-map series. Icebox is what it's all going to be decided. I've seen many a good series, Tony, decided on an Icebox map, a map number 3 or a map 1. Best of 1 series in Icebox, and it always provides something special. So will we see something this time around? Of course, that Viper pick, as we said in the pregame, will reign supreme. Seems to have a way of just controlling the pace of a game, and you know, that's what you need from your smoked players, controlling that pace, shutting down angles, providing team every opportunity to get onto the site. As time starts to tick away and round 1 underway, it will be Yakuza already daggering in early to try and get that info. Quest just navigating his way up, and you know, that, as we've said time and time again, that chamber pick, an ability to kind of double as more than a sentinel, has a bit of versatility, but Indy playing very aggressive here, gets the headshot on Norsen, but the armor gets in the way of dying.
Yeah, Norsen able to live, find the first pick, and now drone will fly and be potentially now on the cards here for Fun Crew early on. As they're taking out Indy, they're taking out a key hold of the site, Isaiah, of course, Daisei, or Dize, whichever way you pronounce it. I like the lovely little alias that he's got going on this evening instead of Dize. Of course, Isaiah, a little bit of a nicer name to say. Shot the Yakuza, spotting Akana down through the middle of Tube. Fireball attempting the plant, but it's just a bait to wrap back to A, potentially. Fresh has walked up that site, and there's not a player been spotted over here.
Yeah, I mean, that was an interesting choice. The fake plant and then run away straight away, and then Flash just... Well, Kalashnikov won't be around to see the rest of this round out. And Flash just, oh my word, gets another one with the Headhunter. And Yakuza, oh, not like this. Does Isaiah dirty and then claims the first round. Fun Crew off to a hot start. Of course, Icebox, in a lot of ways you could assume this is, or you could claim that this is an attacking-sided map. And the buy round comes in now, or the half buy round will be Vandal, Spectre, Phantom. So Fun Crew, they're looking to invest a lot of money into this one and a lot of risk reward type situation. Rifles for 2 of the players already. And it looks like Easy might just stick with the Ghost. But an impressive round nonetheless for Fun Crew, not dropping a single member of Flawless to start our map on Icebox. An impressive start as we get underway again. Kalashnikov just out of action straight away. That's unfortunate. The right idea, but Fun Crew read that one like a book.
Yeah, as soon as they threw the knife, they knew that there had to be a player close, and it was either up top or it was a little bit closer down below. Yakuza able to take out Akana as well. You see Exempt. Okay, down. Has the Headhunter still available? Will they check for Isaiah in this corner? Isaiah gonna be swinging out, but Yakuza gets the better of it. 43 HP. A little bit low. Exempt. It's definitely doable. Headhunter just to find the 1 bullet to the head. Unfortunately, we'll not be finding the kill this time around. Indy has charged up the dash for Norsen. Let's go for a peek up top. Flawless once again. Fun Crew. A stunning start.
Flawless once again to start the first 2 rounds. This map 1, yet to drop a member, and that is really good for the economy. Of course, I did say it was risk reward buying into that round, investing in the 2 rifles that have paid dividends. So it was able to do a lot of damage, but the highlight of what Fun Crew were able to get away with was, of course, the early damage they did. You know, despite, of course, it was Clash going straight down to the wall. On top of that, it was the damage that getting done was incredible. And this time they shape up over towards the B side. Precious looking to make a breakthrough there. Won't fall for the decoy, I don't think. Will be a bit of early damage with the scout forced away. It's getting a bit messy, and Fwesh just come out on top as Indy was insistent on trying to get that first pick.
Insistent as ever, Andy. Gonna be dashing up. Taking some space, Fun Crew. Goes towards yellow, the rest of Fun Crew. The safety of that toxic wall. Shock dart close, doesn't actually find exempt heavy. Man, a spray through to easy, but Andy and Yakuza there to fire back, and two more players left to read. Take here an attempt, freshest. Perfect shot to Isaiah. Isaiah will fall, and it's Kalashnikov. 1v5. Fun Crew holding it down. They will lose the player this time. It's not a third round that nobody dies in. But still, an almost flawless round once again for Fun Crew. 5-0 for Freshest, and 5-1 for Yakuza. 3-0 on the scoreline, and East LA might be on the next flight out.
Yeah, scary thought for the guys over at East LA right now is that Fun Crew, not a single player below 4K in credits, creates a real headache. So they'll be able to buy into the next few rounds, whether they win them or not. But at the moment, it's all just moving one way, and another hot start. We saw this in our first series. It was a dominant flying start from one team, and this time it will be Fun Crew doing the same as they continue to look to assert their dominance on this series. Of course, Andy there, you can see that he's had to pop the dash, the new addition to the jet abilities. Need to pre-fire that dash, get it locked and loaded. Indy on a hold. Kiana good for one with that Sheriff claims the first scalp, and now Indy just patiently waiting. Might like to push through. Couldn't risk pushing through the wall and falling, so it is the 5v4. LA, they have the numbers, but they don't have the firepower, that's for certain. So if they can get to this side and maybe get a couple of rifles, the opportunity starts to get a little bigger. But for now, it's a mighty challenge in front of them.
It's a mighty challenge indeed. Precious especially holding from this yellow box. Once again, another peek coming out from Andy and posted on the line. Beautiful flick in the third from Precious. Perfect shots. Pinpoint precision, as we expect from Precious. The man's too sharp. Andy, of course, to pick up the last 4-0 for the Fun Crew on this attacking side to start it off. And of course, as we said, Charisma, Icebox, it's one of those maps that just gels for Fun Crew.
Yeah, it's all moving their way pretty swiftly at the moment. Not really looking like they're even close to sacrificing a round. Freshest is 8-0 to start the game, and Kalashnikov and Akana are the only ones able to get on the board so far for East LA. So plenty of headaches at the moment, but plenty of time to reel it back in. But Yakuza, as easy as you like, gets one, but Akana's able to trade it back out. An impact kill, an important impact kill. Exempt waiting right there. Andy able to take down Andy. Exempt comes through, trades it out once more. So it is the 3v3, and one member of each team pretty heavily tagged up. But easy, making it look easy.
One enemy remaining.
Great angle being taken, and Andy finding Akana. It's now just... Of course, Kalashnikov coming through middle. Andy poking just below the tube, waiting for the moment to pounce. Kalashnikov, I don't think he's going to expect Andy here either. He's checking all his corners. Andy tucks back up the tube. And the crosshair's not on. Beautiful shot from Andy. And beautiful position on the lurk. Takes 5 now for the Fun Crew side. And, you know, interestingly enough, as we said, this is Fun Crew's best map, and it's one of the maps that they beat the best team in the country. Order fell to Fun Crew on this map. This is, you know, arguably, I feel like Fun Crew, the best map, the best Icebox team in terms of those.
Yeah, it's such a strong start, strong showing to start this one. Because the one thing that East LA can take with them right now is they have able to kill Fweshest at least once so far throughout this one. Indy just gives Andy an absolute haircut. Bring it to that 5v4, and Indy, even in the chat after, says easy. Has enough time to let him know. It's still the 5v4. Yakuza continues just to dabble around belt there.
Ooh.
Finally gets the kill there on Isaiah. It will be exempt holding this tight angle just above Northern's not surely not going to expect this. Turns away just the wrong time, but he gets away with the kill. Absolutely incredible. It's now down to the 2v3, but it just all keeps getting evened up. It's all down to Precious, but might be able to stabilize the core. He's going to have enough time to do it. This is going to make it a 2v1 and more headaches for East LA. That's the luxury of that ultimate when you pop it for KO. Gives you plenty of time.
Spike planted.
And exempt. Oh, taking plenty of time, it would seem. The Tour de Force is online for exempt. He can look to bring it out, but of course, probably wants to save that for the next one. So if you were to lose this, the economy wouldn't be great for East LA. Rapping in chat. He's asking where they are. This is very cheeky. I like it from East LA. Long range. Freshest not quite able to hit that Tour de Force shot this time around. Drop off the rafter. Yakuza able to hold it down for Fun Crew and keep the lead going. 6-0 start. And Exempt still BMing in chat.
I respect it. I respect that it's a 1v2 retake, and you've got to try and get it done to get around on the board. And your go-to was, as you're creeping on the site, is where are you? it's a very friendly text chat in this series. Of course, they're all friends. They all know each other. It's the beauty of Oath Valorant. But look, more headaches for East LA yet to get on the board in this one. Isaiah forced to hold down this mid where it will be a bit of a stack of agents. Oh, damn, you haven't seen that boost up before. Bit of a cheeky one, capturing a couple of different lanes there. Northern could be a bit of a predicament here. He's not going to expect a Kana right there. That's beautiful work there. And Andy now forced to swing out. My word, man. Claims up Isaiah and bring it to the 4v4.
I wouldn't want to go against Andy with his blade storms. A chef with precision. And chef with knives in hand, of course, will be taken out just outside the kitchen. Now see Akana. Reposition here towards the front. And Yellow forced to take the teleports, and on the other side of the map gives Fun Crew the freedom to get the spike down. Situate themselves for the post-plant dimensional drift for Akana. To quickly run it back into the site. Kalashnikov has taken out easy. And Yakuza has sensed this dimensional drift has come out, but nobody has spotted poor Yakuza over to a snowman. Quick one onto Akana. Now it's up to Freshness. Sees the post-plant lineup come out. It's not even the post-plant, it's of course in the hands of Freshness. Perfect. Back against the wall. Take out Kalashnikov and Indy. Again, Freshness does no wrong. Fun Crew do no wrong. It's 7-0.
A gift.
7-0 start. This is reminiscent of the first series, isn't it? Really impressive start from Fun Crew. As you said, they're an impressive Icebox team, and we're seeing exactly why. Their execution, their ability to execute their plays is nothing short of brilliant right now. Can they capitalize? Can they continue to steamroll their way through this one, or will we see East LA make a bit of a return serve when they get to see themselves on the attacking side? And the amount of info utility coming in right now for Kalashnikov is very unfortunate. Just the drone, the Hunter's Fury, it's a very unfortunate time to be on the A side for Kalashnikov, who is finding absolutely no reprieve to all this ability, and will eventually be taken out. I respect how long they survive, but it's a bloodbath here on the A side.
Yeah, the Toxic Screen of Yakuza. Speaking of bloodbaths, he's out for it. Lawson to find 3. Now it's just up to Exempt. For Harry. Falls to Andy once again. 8 rounds before Fun Crew and still 0 on the side of East LA. You might want to change your tag, gentlemen, from LA to NA, near airport maybe, because we're on the next flight out. Fun Crew really taking it home.
That works. Teleport's ready.
Clear to engage. Weapons hot.
8-0 the scoreline. Yakuza 12-3. Flesh just 11-2. Exempt the highest fragger so far for East LA on 4 kills. Andy looking to play aggressive here. Could be met by a bit of a barrage. It's a good opportunity, but Andy just wide swings the tube and cashes in, shutting down Indy. And we'll take the operator and leave it alone. Backs away. That's more pain now for East LA. Isaiah yet to get off the mark. Doesn't have the Hunter's Fury available. Kalashnikov waiting there with the shorty. But it's the economy right now for Fun Crew is nothing short of spectacular. And it's going to be really hard for Fun Crew, or for East LA rather, to navigate their way out of this one despite how much time may be left in this game.
Oh. Big little one from Kalashnikov playing close range with a shorty. You can see that Fun Crew that explode onto this ace side. They have caught up Isaiah playing in this back position, but now it's wrapped around the front, and Easy has to be cautious as a player in screen. There's also still Isaiah standing tall with the Spectre. And now it's up to Norson.
30 seconds
Spike
left.
down back to sight. 30 seconds left, exempt. Just outside of Rafter. A few players close to Rafter. Beautiful fake flash. Norson falls for it. Great to see it. Norson will be falling to exempt in East LA. Finally see one on the board.
Yeah, it was all in the hands of Isaiah. Really heard my calls about saying he's yet to get on the board so far in this series. And then made it a big 3K to clutch up with the Spectre, if you don't mind. Shutting down some key players that have been out and about for Fun Crew. Really impressive stuff. Can they back it up this time? Can they get a couple more? In fact, this scoreline is exactly the same as what we saw from our first series. Can you believe that? It was 8-1, then it went to 8-2, and then it went to 10-2 after that. Can they do it, East LA? Can they get a couple more? Arcana will be shut down. Exempt waiting, gets one there. So it is the 4v4. A lot of work left to do, but Exempt gets another. The heroes start to show up now for East LA. Exempt gets 3 this time around. The shock dart straight at his feet. Easy, beautiful utility usage. And it's all down to Easy, who will be shut down by Exempt. And so this time, it was Exempt. Last round, it was Isaiah. And all of a sudden, it's a good couple of rounds. It's been some individual brilliance seeing East LA get a couple of rounds on the board here, but a lot of work left to do.
Go off, Harry. Go off, son. You know, I believe Exempt, he told me to call him Harry one time. He was, I believe he was on a different account or something like that. He had a different name. Because Exempt we know him as. And, beautiful stuff. I have to say now, Tour de Force online for Exempt. Good look to use at North and Viper's Pit. And Fun Crew, maybe they've had enough playing around. It seems that they're all stacking, looking for this 8-8 to come through. Arcana, once again, aggressive as ever. He's going to catch out Easy. Going for an early recon. And teleports to the safety of Spawn. Kalashnikov. Towards a close gen knife. Comes out. He has spotted it. Nobody spotted him for the moment. He's just going to sit amongst that snake spike. It's going to do a heavy amount of damage. Vulnerable down to 22, but won't kill him fully. So he's able to take out Anti. Viper's Pit goes up, it blossoms. The Fun Crew, they need to get the spike to the side and Yakuza. Perfect shot to Exempt, traded back by Isaiah.
I mean, Isaiah was the hero of this A side only a couple rounds ago to claim the first round on the board for East LA. Can you do it again? But Fueshist, he's gone over towards B side, and that's where they're taking the spike. They've been absolutely fooled by the Viper's Pit. And I think Fueshist might have the number on Isaiah here, and he gets put to sleep. A bullet in the back of the head, and that's going to tell all the info that needs to be done for Arcana to rotate over to the B site and look to be a bit challenging. They are cautious though, because they're aware the rotation from a Yoru can be quick, but Flesh just shuts it down, gets the last 2 kills of that round, and that's going to make it 9-2. One more, East LA. One more to make it 3 rounds on the board. The 9-3 curse can then come into effect. Let's look at the scoreboard and look at what they have to work with. Fleshist has the 2 to force. Andy 1 away from the Blade Storm. They're going to be the only ultimates we see coming out for them on Fun Crew. Kalashnikov with the Viper's Pit can shut down one of those sites. And then Exempt, he has the 2 to force as well. So that could be a key, crucial player in this one. It looks like they will go over towards the A site though.
You want to play? Let's
So all the pressure here on the A site players. Kalashnikov again runs the gambit of that zip line.
Yeah, it's always one to be cautious of if you're a defender. You can see Arcana is pushed into spawn, spots up Andy, takes some shots, gives info over to Norson that he will be checking this big garage. Norson will find Arcana freshest long range with that sniper Tour de Force. Forces way to A site, 30 HP for Isaiah. Nobody's going to expect him in maze. Fresh is caught looking over towards screen. And up
One
on
enemy
the
remaining.
up top, across the rope goes Easy to take out Isaiah. Tour de Force
planted.
exempts. It might be 10 here for Fun Crew. Unless exempts can pull something out of the hat.
Pretty impressive stuff there. Good movement, to say the least. And exempt just getting swung on despite the tour de force. Flashed away and only one bullet left in that thing. And then that's going to be it's going to be the three-man swing forward when exempt. You can't find that many people with one bullet. And that's going to see the end of our first half, 10-2. So it's exactly the same trajectory that our first series took, Tony. Exactly, to the rounds. Exactly the same trajectory. Can he still flip the script, though, and make it their series to win?
It is, good question. Similar start, similar end. How we saw our first series. Rain took it convincingly. Two Fun Crew have the same similar fortune. 16-6, of course, we spoke about Freshest on Icebox and what numbers he can put up, but Yakuza's not doing too bad either.
I'll find
Yeah,
them.
pretty good stuff across the board. From Fun Crew, it's all looking pretty peachy right now. Exempt looking to try and get going.
Revealing area.
As Flesh just looks to play a bit of aggression down tube here. Isaiah might be caught sleeping on that one. It will be Yakuza and Flesh just getting a couple. Exempt, good for one. Indy looking to get it done. Indy getting it done, don't you mind, with the big 3K with the ghost in hand. It's all down to Easy. That's fallen apart pretty quickly for Fun Crew. But if Easy has anything to say about it, he'll clutch just one.
You can see very much cautious. He doesn't know where East LA
Spike planted.
like to play this attacking side, and it's like deja vu. You can see we might have been in this place before. Kalashnikov up top and getting digged up. Easy,
Revealing area.
great damage. Recon. This is gonna ping up Kalashnikov in just a second. It has been spotted. It's gonna be the wrap on from the chamber. The snake spites out to take the fight to Easy. Vulnerable down to 18 points of HP, and Easy doesn't know. Rendezvous, close range, and shot from Exempts. And we are back in this place. It's 3 on the board. It's pistol for East LA and Exempts. Feeling great about that one.
Yeah, East Side's a big round. They needed that so desperately, but it's going to be a couple more on the board than that. They need to try and get, I think at least 7 before they let Fun Crew get to 11. That's at least what I envision. Probably a good start. But they got a few rounds to play with. They got 2 before it's 2 rounds they can sacrifice before it's all over. Can they do it? Can they get themselves across the line? We were just talking at the pre-game that East LA have really been building and they're looking better. It's a bit of a heartbreaking way for them to go down. Yakuza just creeping through with that frenzy. The tube is going totally unattended. They might be able to get a kill here, but Indy sniffs it out. So that's 2 down now for Fun Crew.
Gone.
But Easy coming through with the right click, getting it done. Kalashnikov able to trade that one out.
One enemy remaining.
And that'll be the end of that one. 10-4. Good start again for East LA. Continuing to build on that first round they got in the pistol. Can they get another one? They're kind of telling us in the text chat that one's free as you like.
Ugh. I like this for East LA. You know, coming into this one, they're probably like, alright, Fun Crew, probably our hardest matchup in terms of the group. And, well, having a bit of fun with
Right
it.
here.
Of course, Andy probably wants to get back to Lego Star Wars as soon as possible. We've got a brick update. Christopher, he's at 1,000. Dude's been grinding.
Truly impressive stuff, isn't it, Tony? The ability to work hard at your craft, get yourself to 1,000 bricks.
That works.
It's not a task every man can come before a couple of casters and tell us you've hit the 1,000 brick mark. So shout out to Andy doing absolute work when he's not grinding out this Valorant and playing an incredible Jet. So look, really good stuff from him. Hopefully we get another update next time we see Andy and his ventures. I'm sure we'll continue to see the growth as his trajectory as a brick collector is just going to go from new heights.
Yeah, I was gonna say he needs to get, I believe it's 1,360. I can't remember the number. I know it's 1,300 and something. So hopefully, you know, we'll see him next week. So we'll get an update from him then. And of course, 300 off the total mark. East LA losing a key key member. Exempt has been so pivotal in these 4 rounds that East LA have picked up. Exempt, first being taken out early is not what you want to see. Teleport out, rendezvous to the safety of Kitchen. And Easy, it's going to pick up Spike Plant. Akana now can't stick it, needs to fall back. And Fun Crew,
30 seconds left.
they're already here with 30 seconds left here. How do East LA get this side?
Yeah, they seem a bit trapped right now, especially by Akana and Isaiah getting a couple there. They need to get freshest in. Dude. But Easy there with the shock darts. That's going to kill Akana. That's the end of that. They need to get the spike down ASAP, but Easy's locking it down. And Kalashnikov's in the unfortunate position where they don't have the luxury of time. Gets the kill, but the spike plant's going to be too late. And all Northern has to do is just stay away. And he does, and gets the kill at the end. That is the end of another round, an 11th on the board for Fun Crew, and a heartbreaking way to lose that round. Kalashnikov did the good work of getting the last kill to open up that site again, but the time was just too far gone. So 2 rounds left to get for Fun Crew to round this one out, or will East LA get a bit of momentum heading their way? They can buy into this one, but not great. It's Guardian, or no, a couple of Sheriffs, a Phantom, a Spectre, so nothing great. Indy not buying into this one, just using the Blade Storm. An interesting round ahead to say the least, but East LA to take this site with the guns they've got.
I'll handle this.
It's gonna be a tough one.
It's going to be a very rough dimensional drift here from Akana. He's going all the way deep to spawn. Then teleport, and teleport actually to the back of Ace site. Someone spotted the head with the outro, and the info is known to the side of Fun Crew. Sheriff shot out Norson. That's taking Kalashnikov, and in come Fun Crew before the plant even goes down. It's Easy with 2. And it's Exempt. The spike's down at A, and he's nowhere near. Very valiant effort from Akana with that dimensional drift, but Fun Crew aren't phased. They aren't fooled. Exempt, you're getting spot on the recon. Fun Crew, they kind of gave away a bit of a weakness in their game plan. They said go to Norson's site. Sometimes Norson struggles to hold it down. 12 Fun Crew. Doesn't look like they're struggling though.
Match point. East LA up against the wall by not looking great again. We got Spectre, Vandal, Sheriff, Guardian, and another Vandal, no armor. It's a full buy coming through for Fun Crew, who are looking to wrap this one up. Situation here for East LA. This is a big one. Exam trying to go quick, shut down pretty swiftly. Flesh is getting a couple. Kalashnikov only good for the one. The Hunter's Fury now coming out. Akana looking to dash around that one. Can he take out Yakas? Just waiting here on the side. Falls for the decoy, but still gets the better of Akana. My word, man. And Flesh is good for 3. Indy, last one left for the Sheriff, and a Dream does hit. A little bit, but not enough. And just forced to retreat up the tube and try and run away.
Better Andy wins, apparently, because I believe I got confirmation that Akana's name's actually Andy. Easy. Bang! Precise shot. Indy falls. 13-4 yet again. We've been in this place before, Charisma, and Fun Crew, they show up big to their series this evening. Both Sampam and, unfortunately, East LA just taking a beating tonight.
Yeah, that's right. It was an absolute beatdown for both of those teams, unfortunately. If we look at the scoreboard there, Yakuza 19-11, Fleshist on 19 as well. Easy on 13. Isaiah on 9. Exempted Indy were the only ones to get the double digits for East LA. So a one to forget for East LA tonight, as they will be left licking their wounds and trying to focus up for next week when we get to see them for some more XP Open Series. What a series that was, Tony. Really strong showing from Fun Crew. They never really looked like losing that one or losing control of that game. Completely in control. And again, as we alluded to during the map, really shows why it was one of their strong maps and why they are so revered on Icebox.
Yeah, you can see that their attack flaws, their defense just, well, it's less than flaws. It's pretty clean though. And you can see, look at that statistic. Of course, we spoke about Freshest 19-8, but Yakuza 19-11, 3 First Bloods, and average combat score of 306. Yakuza, you know, it's interesting to see his growth as a player from a demon duelist to now loving to play the util here, it seemed, for Fun Crew. Occasionally on the KO, occasionally on some other things too, I believe. I've seen a Sage out of him at one stage or another, and, well, of course, we'll be interested to see that going into the future, but Fun Crew, great game from them overall, and I have to say, Charisma, if that's the form they're going into these last few weeks, look out for playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Look out for playoffs. But we still have one more week of regular season coming up for you next week. And Fade will be in play for that. So that could be something to keep in mind. Then, we won't be able to see it this week. Quarantine was in play. Fade will be available for selection next week, heading into the XP Open Series. Of course, brought to you by Intel and Computer Alliance. Of course, Computer Alliance provide all their hardware to run this beautiful broadcast that you saw tonight. And then our good friends over at Zowie. And good thanks to XP for running this one. We can't go without thanking our lovely observer Crash tonight, who did a brilliant job, and then Alex that was adminning our whole series tonight and has been adminning this whole event and will do. So beautiful work from them as we look at the ladder for one last time for tonight, and we look at the results and how they were affected, everything. So the same two winners from last week will come through and win again, Tony. Rain going to a 2-0 lead with a round differential of 11. Fun Crew 2-0 as well with a round differential of 11. So everything's looking very similar right now for all of these sides, but some teams not looking so good.
Yeah, he's still there was jokes of a disband potentially coming after that. Hopefully not. Hopefully we'll see them for the final few weeks of competition. But for Rain and Fun Crew, I have to say, showing up as well they do. Of course, Rain, very, very good performance. Fun Crew just on their marks, it would seem, this evening, and in their bag. Charisma, I have to say, watch out for Fun Crew and Rain, and hopefully, of course, their game soon to come. A best of one between those two should be an absolute banger.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to look forward to, and there's a lot to be excited about these two rosters and how they perform moving into the future. We talked a bit about with Rain before, if they can just stick together and work on that and keep working and looking to progress their skill level and that skill gap between the top guys and where they're at. They could be a really dangerous threat moving into the future. And the same goes for Fun Crew. If they can keep working through it, who knows what the future holds for both of these rosters. But for now, we are going to say goodnight. We're going to say farewell. It's been a brilliant series. Of course, Two Tap Tony being alongside me for the whole thing. It's been a pleasure having you alongside with us, ladies and gentlemen. We hope to see you back here next Wednesday with Fade in the mix next week. We hope to see you back here on Twitch, ready to watch some more Valorant XP Open Series, of course, brought to you by Intel, Computer Alliance, and Zowie. But until next time, on behalf of myself, Charisma, Two Tap Tony, Crash OBS, and Alex, our admin, have a lovely rest of your night. Stay safe, look after one another, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Powered by AMD 3rd Gen Ryzen processors, the ROG Strix B550F gaming Wi-Fi provides first-class gaming features and style. The B550F Wi-Fi features a robust 12+2 DR-MOS-teamed Power Stage VRM design with high-quality alloy chokes and durable capacitors to provide reliable power for the latest high core count AMD CPU.